Hi everyone, good evening to all of you. Just gonna wait a minute for everyone to join in. Great to see all of you. So good evening once again, and today on Mind Over Matter with me, Banaisha, we're going to be talking about fear. So let's start and get right into the topic. I'm going to disable the comments as always and take on questions later. So hello to everyone who's saying hi to me, and catch up with you all with your questions soon enough. All right, so let's begin. Today's topic is feed your faith and starve your fear. So essentially, what are we talking about? We're talking about fear. Now, fear is something that all of us have experienced at some given point of time. It has been a very constant emotion in some of our lives. Some of us have spent years with this emotion, and it's almost become like a part of our system. And we feel or we believe that fear is, imperative for us to have and to be in our emotional space. So let's start off with the first thing is, what is fear? So fear is one of the most basic human emotions that we all go through, right? It is programmed into our nervous system and works like an instinct almost. From the time we were infants, we were equipped that survival instincts necessary to respond with fear when we sense danger or feel unsafe. Now the catch sentence over here is that fear helps protect us. Now, how many of y'all really think at this point of time, I know I can't see you raised hands or anything of that sort, but just ask yourself, how many of y'all really believe that fear helps protect us? I'm sure at some level most of us do. There was a time where I thought fear protected us, because fear kind of gets us ready, gets us prepared for what bad could happen. We were always told by our teachers, our parents, while we were growing up that, be prepared, something bad might also happen. Be cautious, something bad might also happen, right? So this has been something that we've all experienced. But fear helps protect us is something which is debatable. Now, why is it debatable is because when we feel like today, for example, when March 2020 came along of this year, right, what happened? All of us went into a fear psychosis. We all went into a fear psychosis wherein we were just like all over the place when it came about to the COVID news, when it came about to the lockdown. We had lots of fears around us. The first fear that started amongst us was, will I get my groceries? Will I be able to do the things that I need to do? Do we have to go to work? Do we not have to go to work? How will we manage the house? How will we manage our kids? All those things came about us. So what really happened? We started getting worried. We started having fearful thoughts. We started thinking otherwise. If this doesn't happen, this will happen. And all those thoughts were negative or unpleasant, let's put it that way, right? So fear helps protect us is a myth. It's a thing that was of the past, So let's move on to the next question that is often asked, that why is it so common? Why is fear today? We hear left, right and center everyone talking about fear psychosis, everyone talking about fear in general with relation to COVID-19, with relation to the situation, with relation to how the country is going to go forward. We all have various kinds of fear. We have fear of health, we have fear of money, we have fear of losing people. We have a lot of fears that come about from various sources. So the three top reasons why I personally feel that fear is so common is this. So one is we do not rationalize our thoughts. We believe everything. Now, have you been in a position ever in your life, and I'm sure you have, I too have been most definitely, wherein we land up believing what other people tell us. We land up seeing what our neighbors have gone through, what our relatives have gone through, what our friends and other family members have gone through, and we start to feel like it's us. It's happening to us. It's happening to me. It's happening within me. And that being said, it plays on our mind. And when that plays on our mind, we start to instill this emotion of fear, this emotion of anxiety, this emotion of panic. And what happens then? We start to feel like this is happening to me, it's really happening, when it's actually not happening, right? So it becomes so common because it's just one small thought which kind of ignites a huge fire within you. The second thing is we consume data that is not ours. So there are news channels today, there is WhatsApp that constantly gives you information, there are social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook as well that give a whole bunch of information. Now, there is good and there is bad in the world. The question really is about how are you going to accept the good well-heartedly, and how are you going to learn from the bad and not take the bad and make it your own and instill that fear within yourself. Because what is really happening is you're taking again somebody else's story, like discussed in the first part. We don't rationalize. Rational thoughts are, is this really happening to me? No. Then who is it happening to? Somebody else. And why should I be worried? Should I be worried or should I be cautious? Being worried and being cautious are two different things. They're not the same thing. There are many times in life people go like, but this guy, he was so brilliant, he studied so much, he did, he used to go for this tuition, that tuition, blah, 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 but he still failed. And I'm not even so smart, so I'm definitely going to fail. And that fear just sits within you. That fear just settles within you. And you go with the flow. You go into your examination or you go into your job interview thinking that you are going to fail. Why? Because somebody else who you consider successful has failed. And you obviously consider yourself to be not that successful. So you kind of fail with that thought itself. So it's the fear of somebody else that's transcending into your emotion. So it's not your baggage to take. On a conveyor belt, would you pick up a baggage that's not yours? No, right? So then why do we pick up problems that are not ours? Yes, it's very good to be aware from news channels, very good to be aware from WhatsApp forwards, from social media, what is happening in the world. But that doesn't mean that we start letting those things affect us to a grave level. Today, if we're all going to be constantly worried about what's going to happen to the world, do you really think that we can actually live in the world? Do you actually believe that you would be able to step out the next day living free? It's such a strange thing today because our air is clean, but we can't go out for a walk. We have a lot more time, but we can't meet our family members. Isn't it a strange time? And all what we're doing in this time is not valuing what we have. We are fear. We're in fear. We're fearing what we might not have. So what fear actually does to you, it's a liar. It constantly keeps on telling you the lie that you might not have a future. But hey, remember one thing, that you're here and now, your present very moment, if you don't live it and if you don't truly enjoy it, in tomorrow, you will look back and say, oh my God, I should have done that. In your tomorrow, your today becomes your past. And if in your today, you constantly worry about tomorrow, you never really live today. Which comes to the point of, are you really going to live in fear or are you going to have faith? Which is why the title today is to feed your faith and starve your fear. Starve it to death. Because fear is a liar. It tells you what you do not want to hear because it's the easiest thing at that point of time to take you on a negative trip. When you call somebody and they don't answer your call, what is the first thing that you think about? Say for a parent today, when they call up their child at say 11:30 at night and the child does not answer, what do you really think? Something bad has happened. But the child could be outside waiting to open the door, just finding his keys. So just saying, oh yeah, mom's calling, I'm just going to meet her in a second. Right? And then when the child opens the door, the mother or the father who is calling them goes like, oh my God, you almost scared me. And the kid is like, what were you worried about? No, you won't understand, you're a parent. Well, all of these thoughts have come from other stories and other people. Yes, the world is bad. But by you thinking about it every day, it's going to get a lot worse. So we believe, the third point is that we believe that we must know everything that is happening in our lives. And that uncertain times are very bad. Sometimes uncertainty can actually motivate you to do better things for yourself. When you're not sure about something, it's really okay. And when you don't know the road ahead, it's also really okay. Giving you another example. Now say you're driving at night, right? Do you really think the street light help you look at what's happening 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer and 10 kilometers away? That you can actually plan what your speed should be? No, you don't, right? So when you're driving at night, you've got only your headlights and some dim lights as street lights. So you can only see till a distance further up that your headlights show you. So if a dog crosses you, you will only see in that much distance. So your brakes will be hard at that point of time. It's really okay. It's fine. Because when you're driving, you're only relying on those headlights because that's all you have. Similarly in life, there will be many times that there are very limited things that you can rely on and that's all you have. Being frustrated and being fearful about it is not going to better your situation. It's only going to hamper your situation. So again comes to the part where it's about faith. Sometimes we wish to control people, control things out of the fear that they might, go in the wrong directions. Parents often do that to their children. Loved ones do that in their marriages and relationships. But why do so? If somebody else is doing something wrong according to you, it might be right according to them. Have you ever wondered? Their fall might actually lead to their rise. So why really fear for other people around you and at the same time fear about yourself? Rather than that, have faith and focus on what is happening in the here and now and enjoy that very moment. So moving on to my next thing, which is what does fear really do to us as human beings? It stops us from believing in ourselves because we constantly obviously start believing WhatsApp and news channels and everything that we see on social media. Like today, a lot of people, ask me a question that, Pinaisha, you are a mental health therapist and you're an image consultant. So that means every day you look good and you think good and you feel good, right? That means you never have a bad day. And I'm just looking at them saying, no, that's not true. I'm human. I do have my downfalls. Just because I'm a mental advisor, that doesn't mean every single day is a great, gorgeous day for me. I do have my downfalls, which then remind me of my upswings. So you will have that up and down, right? A barber cannot cut his own hair and a chef wouldn't always cook himself a meal. Similarly, everything that you are excellent or good at doesn't mean that you're always on top of your game. Know that and understand and accept that, and that's all right. So firstly, what does it stop us from doing? It stops us from believing in ourselves. So learn to start believing in yourself that yes, you can do certain things and fear is a liar. The second thing is it stops us from moving forward from the past. Like I already spoke to you all about the fact that we can't really live for tomorrow because we're not even living today. And then when tomorrow comes, we go like, hey, but I should have done that. So then might as well just live in today so that tomorrow you don't have to say I should have done that, right? So fear does that. It stops us. It's this rock that's tied to us that doesn't let us move forward. Why? Oh, if I tell him or her that I like him or her, our friendship will get ruined. Well, try it out. Let's see how strong your friendship is. If I talk to these people, they might think this way of me. Try it out. You actually don't know how they might think of you. if I take up that job in another country, how will I deal with my food? I don't even know how to cook. How will I learn new cultural languages or anything of that? Well, try your hand, go out there and learn it out. So there are many things that we just need to swallow. We need to just swallow for that one moment and take that leap of faith and actually jump over. And fear does not exist then. Another thing is that it clouds our judgments about people and things. So a lot of times we are fearful of someone. Like today, for God's sake, if somebody just coughs because something is stuck in their mouth, or they sneeze because they are allergic to a dust that's around them, you will just look at them with strange eyes and go like, oh my God, this person has COVID. It's weird, right? So don't succumb to so much fear that every sneeze and every cough only reminds you of one thing. Or, I've heard of people when they go like, I broke up with X person, so their name. So say for example, Rahul, such a common name, right? So I broke up with Rahul as a name. And suddenly you start meeting all boys who are Rahul around you and like, oh my God, all these guys are bad because that guy was not so nice to me. How does that make sense? And you start being fearful of those situations. Then you've had a bad relationship with somebody. You keep on thinking everyone next you're going to meet is a bad person too. So stop doing that because you're only holding yourself back. And lastly, it makes us believe things that don't always exist, like boogeymans when we were children. So one decision that I've definitely made is I'm never introducing this character called Boogeyman to my children, because you're unnecessarily instilling fear in a child's mind which does not really exist. If you don't do this, I will shout at you. If you don't do this, I will do this to you. Essentially, what are you doing? You're getting them to be afraid of you. And that way they'll start being afraid of a lot of things, and when they grow up in their teenagers, they'll have low self-esteem, and then you'll send them to a counselor to gauge them for low self-esteem. So why not start parenting from the very beginning in a more positive format, right? Okay, so moving on to a quote that I really like and I found it over the internet many years ago, which is the blind man can't see the obstacles in front of him, so he proceeds as though there are none. Isn't that wonderful? It sounds almost like the headlight example that I gave you. A blind man does not know what is coming through him, but he moves forward knowing and having that faith, and that's something that I urge each of you to do so. So moving on to the most important thing, which you'll be like, how can I deal with all this fear? So these are a few things that I have done to overcome a lot of my fear of a lot of things, whether it's heights, whether it's, something very, very serious in my life or anything of that sort. So first and foremost, know that all that we fear lies outside of us, outside. It's not within us until and unless we take it in and keep on thinking it in our heads, right? So that's your first thought. The second thing is we need to take time out and rationalize the thought. So for example, if you feel that, okay, if I step out, I'm going to fall sick because everyone is falling sick. No, if you if you have your mask and you're protected and you're doing the things that you need to do and you're not being, you're not being frivolous, you're going to be just fine. And God forbid, even if you do fall sick, be positive that you're going to get through it in good health. Simple as that. It's not easier said than done. It is easier. It's easy to think and do rather than to think the negative and stress about it. That's even more difficult. The next thing is, if you can't chill, imagine the worst and see, can you really do something about it? Yeah. So a lot of us, get these recommendations from our friends where it's just chill. I will not tell you to chill. Don't worry. I hate the word myself. So if you can't chill as well, okay, because I can't chill too, then imagine the worst. This is something which sounds really stupid, but trust me, it works. Go all the way through. If you're really thinking, what is the worst that can happen? Go to it. And then, ask yourself one question. Okay. How bad can it be? You come back, right? and you ask yourself, how bad can it be? It can be this bad, so now I know what can happen. So can I really do something about it? If this person is going to react like this, if I say this, what I needed to say, then is there another way to say it? Is there another way to do it? So think of all those options, because you've panned out everything around you. So make a different roadmap maybe than you already had planned. And don't try to be perfect in all of this. Another thing is to seek evidence. Now, seek evidence. For example, when I was told about the boogeyman, I really believed him for quite some time, and then I started to seek evidence. Where is this boogeyman? So one day I actually didn't sleep, because my dad said if you don't sleep, boogeyman will come, and I didn't sleep, and I realized that hey, there was no boogeyman. Similarly, try it out and test your fear as well. Okay, and then lastly, go back to basics. Drugs and drinking are not basics. If you're stressed about something, taking drugs or drinking alcohol is not cool. It's a no-no. Popping pills, not cool, right? Simple reason is that it isn't really going to take your fear away. It's just going to dampen it. It's just going to make you drift away into a different horizon. And then when you come back, it's going to hit you even more harder. So please realize that a nap will do you much better. A hot shower will do you much better. Your favorite food will do you much better. If you're really wanting to take a pause and a distraction, take a positive pause and a distraction. A shower will not, eradicate your fear. It'll make you feel better, but you'll also have to do the above things that I mentioned of rationalizing, questioning, thinking of the worst, and then coming back and probably changing your plan of what you were doing it. All these things together is the way to deal it. It's not just one. So I hope these pointers gave you some insights and, give you some clarity. So to end this, I would say being brave isn't the absence of fear, but being brave is having that fear, but finding a way through it. And that's something that I urge each one of you to do, because all of us fear something or the other. Some of us fear even death. But know the fact that if you don't live now, death will come to you one way or another anyway. So you might as well live well, so that whenever it does come to you, you're ready for it. So I hope this has brought you some good thoughts and good insights. And now I'm ready to take all your questions. So let's begin. Okay, so we can take on questions in the comments box, or we can take on questions even in the question box here. So let's quickly get started on our questions, because we don't want to get run out of time. So I do see a lot of you all have said hi, hello. So hey and hi to everyone out here. Lovely to see all of you all. So I've got a question which says, does fear really go away? Yes, fear goes away if you really want it to, and if you really work towards it. So it's really important that you actually do something about the fear. Alright, so Aditi, Vanisha say that they loved the session. Thank you. Alright, so another question from Joy which says, will it help in boosting self-confidence as well? Absolutely. Once you actually know how to combat your fear, you will start feeling so liberated. You'll start feeling so relaxed, so chill, breathable. I often say this to my clients, that fear is almost like, after a long day when you remove your socks from your feet, and how your feet really feel breathable. That's what will happen once you actually, just remove that sock of fear away, and your legs will breathe and you will breathe. So yes. Okay. Do we have to focus on each track in order to achieve this? I don't know about which track you're talking about, but the last part where I mentioned about all the steps that you could follow, I could just put it back on for you quickly. So all this way, like how we can deal with it, all of these points would really help in combating your fear. All right. I'm always anxious. Aditi says how to stay calm. So Aditi, what I would first here say is find out what are you really anxious about. Are you always anxious about the future? Then obviously you are, you know, overthinking and you're racing your mind ahead for a lot of things. And what you should then do is you know, breathing activities. So something that I actually learned very recently was a 4-2-3-2 breathing activity. And what that is so for 4 counts, hold your breath, okay, and thereafter for take 4 breaths, okay, and then hold it on for 2 seconds, and then release it for 3. Thereafter again take it in and then hold it on for 2, and keep doing this to kind of release and ease yourself. This also helps a lot when you're angry or anxious or afraid or just nervous, you know, all these emotions. This 4-2-3-2 really helps, so you can try doing that. What's so Sahil, you say what's all this about? Okay, so I would urge you, Sahil, to actually go back to you know, when I post this as an IGTV on Namami Life's page, I would urge you to check this video out. We've spoken today about fear, what is fear, what fear really does to us, and how we can combat fear in our lives. So if you have any questions after that, Sahil, please leave it in the comments. I will answer it by tomorrow. All right. Anmol has a question. I'm really scared to drive a bike, but I'm really interested too. But I think way too much about people. So if you're really, if you want to ride a bike, try it out and see how it pans out for you. If you feel like you're really bad at it or you really don't want to endanger anybody else's life, then you might stop it. But I wouldn't say that you can't reject something you haven't tried, right? So try it out and see how bad it can actually be. All right. Why do we fear of certain things? You tell me, why do we fear of certain things? There are many things that we fear of because you know, like for example, when you are standing at the top of the mountain and you're looking down, what you fear of is death. You fear of is getting hurt. You fear that nobody will hold you, and that's what we mostly fear about. And when we talk about fear of, okay, I don't want to date anyone because I have the fear of breakups. So you've clearly had a bad breakup, or you've heard about breakups, or your parents had a bad marriage, so now you totally don't believe in love, and that's your conditioning. But understand that we aren't born that way. We condition our minds like that. It's like a hair conditioner, right? Your hair came out in a very different format, but all the different conditioners that you keep on putting on your hair actually changes the texture of your hair. So know that our mind is our conditioning. It is not our inbuilt gene. We don't come born with a chip that on this day at this time, on 28th of September 2020 at 6:28 p.m. this is what is going to happen to you. No, it doesn't happen like that. You condition your mind and you then make choices from those conditioning that lead to actions around you. So yes. All right, how can we conquer our fear? So we've discussed this through about how we can conquer our fear. So I urge you to go back as well to see this video. Can I manifest and imbibe this in me? Definitely, of course you can. Your previous question was, can self-belief overpower fear? Can self-belief overpower fear? I'm a little confused on this question, so if you could elaborate, it would be great. All right. Hey Amit, nice to see you. I tend to portray my fear to others, but rather just break down. I tend to portray my fear to others, but rather just break down. Okay, so I guess that you get so afraid that you break down. Is that what you're trying to tell me? What happens is that when we're so afraid and you think like you're gonna break down, sometimes it's just okay to break down. You know, if you feel embarrassed or something, go on the side, go to the bathroom, go into another room and just break down. But I would say, like, if it's something like going into an examination and breaking down there because you're thinking you might fail, don't do that to yourself. Simple reason is you haven't even seen the question paper, so what are you really afraid about? You know, I was not a really great student I'm not like a top ranker at all, but whatever I really liked, I studied, and clearly it got me to where I am today. But whenever I used to go in for a paper, you know, all the other girls and boys used to like be like still reading their notes, and I used to be like, it's not going to go into my head now if it didn't go into my head 1 hour ago. So there is no point of anticipating and fearing what marks I'm going to get before I've even seen my question paper. So there are lots of times, you know, my dad used to ask me, so how much do you think you're going to get in this answer and this answer and this answer? I'm trying to calculate what I would get before even the answer paper has gone to my, you know, corrector. And it was a stupid thing because it didn't make sense to me. So I told him, I said, you need to stop doing that because you're just getting me afraid, and it doesn't make sense because I really don't know, right? And when you don't know something, why should you stress about getting to know it before the time that you're actually given to know it? So uncertainty sometimes is okay also to have, because there will be a report day, you will know your marks, and you will get to know if you passed or failed. All right. I'm not being able to cope with my fears. I am seeking independence, but it seems like long due. Well, I think you need to try a little more harder and be a little more focused. There are lots of times we feel like we're trying, but actually what we're doing is thinking of trying, but we're not really trying. So don't think that I have fear and I have to deal with the fear. Think of what like the steps we just spoke about and deal with that. All right, so great questions from some of you, and a lot of you have said hi and waving out in good session. Thank you. How do you overcome the fear of judgment? You realize that everyone judges everyone. Even you are judging me right now. But if I have to really sit and think what 112 people are thinking about me, I would never land up doing a session like this, right? So it's really important to put all of these people aside and just give out the best. Today, if I constantly think about the number over here and I keep looking at the number over here, I'm just gonna get more palpitated. I have to focus on you guys down here. So I will engage with the people who engage with me, and the ones who don't engage with me, maybe they're silent engagers. That doesn't mean that they don't like my session. So you have to stop overthinking and overriding the judgment of other people. People judge anyway. Even you are judging. So call that quits. All right. Okay. What is phobia? Phobia is something that you're fearful about. That is phobia essentially. I have fear of losing people. This is the last question I'm going to take. I have fear of losing people. How can I say goodbye to this? So you have to stop thinking that everyone else is going to tell you goodbye. And that's how you will say goodbye to this. Because if the one who has to leave will leave anyway. Everyone comes in your life for a reason or for a season. They will either teach you something and leave, or you will leave them. Or they will leave you after a particular period of time, and that is okay, and it is all right. All right, so great. I hope this was a lovely, insightful session for all of you who've stuck around all the way till the end. So thank you very much, and see you all next Monday with yet another engaging topics. So take care. See you all soon.